For more than a century, Egypt has felt like a land already excavated. From the royal tombs beneath the sands of the Valley of the Kings to the vast burial grounds of Saqqara, archaeologists believed the great secrets of the pharaohs had largely been uncovered. Every major dynasty mapped, every royal lineage traced, every monumental burial found, or so it seemed. Because recently, beneath layers of undisturbed desert sediment, a discovery emerged that is now sending shockwaves through the archaeological world. A tomb, hidden where no one expected it, sealed in a way rarely seen, and containing clues that challenged long-held assumptions about power, belief, and even identity in ancient Egypt. At first, the find looked routine, a shaft, cut cleanly into limestone bedrock, the kind of structure archaeologists have opened thousands of times before. But what lay below was anything but ordinary. The entrance showed no signs of looting, an almost impossible rarity in a civilization where grave robbers had worked for millennia. The seals were intact, the burial chamber untouched. It was as if time itself had stepped aside and preserved the site for over 3,000 years. Inside, the arrangement of objects did not follow the familiar patterns of elite Egyptian burials. The arrangement was deliberate, unusual, and deeply symbolic in ways that experts are only beginning to understand. Because this was not just another noble's resting place, and not a forgotten prince. The inscriptions hinted at someone whose role does not fit neatly into Egypt's known hierarchy, someone powerful, yet strangely absent from history. And the deeper archaeologists looked, the clearer it became. This tomb was never meant to be found. As the chamber was carefully opened, archaeologists expected the familiar. Painted walls, funerary texts, offerings arranged for the afterlife. Instead, they found something unsettling. The artistic style inside the tomb did not fully belong to any known period. Some carvings echoed the elegance of Egypt's New Kingdom. Others resembled motifs more common in earlier Middle Kingdom burials. It was as if time had collapsed inside this single space. Even more puzzling was the absence of royal names. In ancient Egypt, identity was everything. Power was eternalized through cartouches, the oval rings enclosing the names of kings and queens. Yet here, the cartouches had been deliberately erased, not weathered, not damaged by time, removed. Someone had taken extraordinary care to eliminate the identity of the tomb's owner, but they had not destroyed everything. Traces remained, faint hieroglyphic fragments referencing divine authority, titles suggesting influence over ritual and state, symbols typically reserved for those operating close to the throne. And then came the statues. Positioned along the chamber walls were guardian figures unlike any previously documented. Their posture mirrored traditional protective deities, but their faces were altered. Human, not divine. Wearing crowns never before seen in Egyptian iconography. These were not gods, they were representations of power, earthly power. The implications were immediate and profound, because in ancient Egypt, the boundary between ruler and deity was tightly controlled. Only pharaohs, like Tutankhamun, occupied that sacred overlap between human and divine. Yet here, this tomb suggested someone else had claimed a similar position, someone whose authority may have rivaled the throne itself, and whose memory was later erased, systematically, intentionally. History, it seemed, had been edited, and this tomb was the surviving draft that slipped through the cracks. As the excavation progressed deeper into the burial complex, the mystery only intensified. Beneath the main chamber, a secondary passage was uncovered, narrow, steep, and deliberately concealed behind a false limestone wall. This was no structural accident. It was architectural deception, a feature more commonly associated with royal tombs in the Valley of the Kings, designed to mislead intruders and protect what lay beyond. When archaeologists breached the hidden passage, they entered a smaller inner sanctuary.
And here, the rules of traditional Egyptian burial seemed to break entirely. Instead of a single sarcophagus, there were multiple burial containers, nested, layered, almost like a ritual within a ritual. But the inscriptions told a strange story. They did not speak of rebirth alone, nor of Osiris and the standard journey to the afterlife. Instead, they referenced transformation, ascension, union with celestial forces, concepts rarely emphasized in mainstream royal funerary texts. Even more surprising was the astronomical alignment of the chamber itself. The inner sanctuary appeared oriented towards a precise point in the sky, one associated with sacred stars linked to divine kingship and eternity. This was no ordinary burial. It was constructed as a cosmic machine, a place designed not just for death, but for transcendence. Nearby, fragments of ritual objects were found bearing symbols connected to priestly authority rather than royal lineage. This blurred the line even further. Was the tomb's occupant a ruler or something else entirely?
In Egypt, the priesthood wielded immense influence, sometimes rivaling that of kings. During certain periods, high priests of Amun in places like Thebes effectively governed regions of Egypt. But they were never buried like this, never granted near-divine representation, unless there had once been an individual who stood between these worlds, not fully king, not merely priest, but a figure whose power required both reverence and eventual erasure. And the hidden chamber suggested that whoever this was, their burial was meant to preserve a legacy that official history chose to forget. What makes this discovery so unsettling is not just what was found, but what was missing. No grand name survives intact, no clear dynasty claims this individual, no triumphant inscriptions celebrate their achievements. Instead, the tomb whispers through fragments, erased titles, altered imagery, symbols of authority stripped of identity. This was not the work of time, it was the work of intention. Ancient Egypt practiced something known as damnatio memoriae, the destruction of memory. When a ruler or powerful figure fell from favor, their name could be removed from monuments, their statues shattered, their legacy erased as though they had never existed. History was not always written, sometimes it was deleted. The most famous example remains the female pharaoh Hatshepsut, whose images were systematically removed after her death. But this tomb suggests something even more extreme, because here, the erasure seems to have occurred before history could even record the individual's existence. A burial prepared with immense care, then stripped of identity. It raises a chilling possibility that ancient Egypt once held a figure powerful enough to be buried like royalty, spiritual enough to be represented like a deity, and dangerous enough to be forgotten. Modern archaeology has long relied on patterns, dynasties, timelines, clear hierarchies. But this tomb does not fit the pattern, it disrupts it. It hints at a shadow layer of influence, individuals who shaped the religious or political landscape without leaving official records behind. The implications stretch beyond a single burial. If one such figure existed, could there have been others? How much of ancient Egypt's true power structure remains hidden beneath curated history? For now, the tomb stands as a silent contradiction, a reminder that the past is not a fixed story carved in stone, but a fragile narrative shaped by survival, suppression, and rediscovery. And somewhere beneath the sands of Egypt, more forgotten names may still be waiting, not lost, but deliberately hidden.